We are here today as members of the Nigerian Bar Association Gombe branch to register some issues, bring some issues to the notice of the authorities concerned. We have, as an association in Gombe branch, declare that we are not going to participate in any court proceedings at a congress held on the 22nd day of April 2025, and resolve that if certain things do not improve, part of the things that we are going to itemize here, but because of the importance of this and the importance of the Salah celebration, we have decided to boycott the sittings of the court for from commencing from today, the 2nd day of June, to the 6th day of June. If things do not improve, what we resolved earlier was to do a 2 weeks boycott. Then subsequently we may reconsider the need to. Part of the reasons why we have to do this is taking into consideration the importance of judiciary being an arm of government, being the third arm of our government, and how important the judiciary is. Societies, modern or traditional societies, have ways of resolving disputes. In traditional societies, there weren't formal courts like we have today, but they had means of amicable resolution of their issues through their heads, village heads, district heads, and with the coming of emirate system, informal courts in form of alkali courts were established. But in modern times, we have a sophisticated, organized judicial system. In every state, it is headed by the chief judge as the head of court, where you have Sharia Court of Appeal or Customary Court of Appeal if those laws are applicable. You have Grand Qadi and President. This underscores the importance of the judicial system. If there isn't judiciary, the world will be in a state of anarchy. It's a world where the strongest survives at the detriment of the weakest. So, judiciary is very important as much as the other two arms of government, the executive and the legislature are. We came here to re-echo that importance and why it should be taken care of adequately to ensure that persons who man the courts at whatever level do not fall into the temptation of corruption by the reason of unfair uh, or unjust treatment of the people who man the courts and the persons who assist them as staffs of the court. One of the issues we have identified is the general welfare of our judges as a key reason why we felt perhaps we have spoken at many fora, one of which was the legal year celebration marking the commencement of 2024-2025 legal year. Here we celebrated belatedly on 27th day of January. We have identified such issues and have brought to the attention of His Excellency the Executive Governor of Gombe State, who attended the legal year in person, that our judges are not, their welfare is in shambles. They need to be taken care of more than ever before. The reason is simple. If somebody is given the authority that a judge of the High Court has, or a magistrate who has warrant to remand and to release, if somebody is armed with such powers, with both powers and authority to do and undo, and the person is not taken care of, tendencies and chances are very high that he could yield to the temptations of taking bribe to make ends meet. So it is incumbent upon the government. When I say the government now, it is the three arms I'm talking about, both the executive, the legislature, and the judicial arms, to come together to ensure none is treated unjustly, none has his welfare, suffering, none has his basic trainings and retraining suffering. This is for the records, and I think time is high for us to make it as lucid as possible. We have 9 judges in the High Court in Gombe State. 2 of the judges were appointed alongside so many others who have retired. Number 1 and number 2 are driving cars which I know I've been practicing here for 17 years now. One and two are driving cars that were given to them since 2011, 14 years ago. Three and four are driving cars that were given to them 13 years ago. Since they were appointed, we were here. In fact, one of the two, three, and four has his car broken. He has been using a car that is not befitting of the status of a judge. And this arithmetic is simple. Every term spent by members of the executive, every time spent by legislators in the state, new cars are given to them every 4 years. Why can't same gesture be extended to the judiciary? No matter how expensive the cars are, you travel around potholes, bad roads in Nigeria with the same cars. At best, 4 or 5 years after the car would have worn out, you need a replacement if you must function effectively. 9 out of these judges we have, rarely do you have up to two of them attend national conferences in a year, which all of them are supposed to go. The rules of our high courts and of course the Sharia Court of Appeal has made room for vacation annually. And the vacation is a minimum of 7 weeks every year. And the intention is that every judge should go, you know, have some good air, relax, check your system, attend to your health, embark on medical tours, get well and come back and continue the work for another 10 months. That is the intention of the vacation. Rest your body and your soul also, of course, not rest in peace. Your soul should also rest so as to, make you more effective. But most of these people, aside their basic salaries and other basic allowances that are paid for, do not get to be paid their medical tour allowances. They don't get to be paid their furniture allowances. They don't get to be paid very many other allowances to motivate them, to discourage them from indulging in issues that will put both the system and themselves in trouble. This is one of them. Secondly, we have an issue here. Sincerely, God bless our mother, Honorable Justice Sarah Patamobo Katua, for bringing, when she was the president of the Court of Appeal, the court division here in Gombe. The court took off since February 2020. We have had different panels sitting in the court, but the last panel we had raised a lot of issues that were beyond the powers of the chairman of the bar. Of course, around here, the NBA is not regarded as any serious thing like it is in other climes. The presiding justice will sit in court and address me for 1 hour and be like, we are looking up to you. You must talk to the powers. We do not find it easy. We don't have good water. We don't have good accommodation. Talk to the powers to do the needful. Otherwise, we'll ensure this court is relocated from this place. And we brought that to the attention of the government. Even in our speech in the legal year, we made a point which was denied. But we don't have the court in Gombe now. It has been relocated. It is dangerous. Of course, it is even suicidal for any lawyer to travel from Gombe to go to Maiduguri. You are all aware of the issues in and on the way to Maiduguri now. Boko Haram has regrouped. They have, launched successful attacks. They have attacked a military base in Marte. They have done so many attacks. In fact, there was a bomb blast in Maiduguri whether day before or yesterday. Exactly. It claimed the lives of people in a motor park. So it is not a safe place beside the distance from Gombe to Maiduguri. If you go to other places, the Southwest has 6 states. Each of the states in the Southwest have a Court of Appeal division now. It is not asking for too much for Gombe to be retained as a division and Maiduguri to be created. Gombe can take care of Bauchi and Gombe and Yobe, or even Gombe State. The last time we checked the cases, the volume of cases coming from Gombe division are way more than Borno and Yobe put together. Only Gombe State. All we are asking for is let there be Gombe division. And His Excellency has to do something about it. Government exists only for the people. If there are no people, the government does not have any usefulness. What the people want, they have got in form of a Court of Appeal. It has reduced by 80% cost implication of litigants having to travel to Jos or to Yola, as it were, to attend to their cases in the Court of Appeal. A lawyer averagely will take 150,000 naira for his transport and hotel to Maiduguri. Few litigants can afford to pay 150 as professional fee not to talk of your transport and hotel to go. So the presence of the court does a lot to the state government. It is doing a lot to the revenue. Hotels, business centers, and very many other people in business enjoy the presence because people have to come from Borno and Yobe to do their cases here. But the government probably its attention was not brought to the importance of the court, including but not limited to the ones I've itemized, for it to consider the need to follow. We are calling on the government to lobby. Government is about lobby. When you see federal government, cites any project in your state, you must have done a lot of lobby in bringing it and a lot of lobby to ensure it remains. You must take part of the responsibility. You don't have to pay the staff of the salary because they are federal staff. But when the court it is identified that they don't have a boss, it is not out of place for our revenue, our tax to be used to procure or to acquire a boss and be donated to the court. These are little issues that we were told sincerely that led to the, do I say, moving of the court from here and establishing it in Maiduguri. The staff are still here. Everything is here. Name Gombe division is here in the list of the court. But for these reasons, the president felt it will not post, she will not post justices to preside or to sit in Gombe division because their welfare is not taken care of. We call on the government to do more on the welfare. Our lower benchers, people who man the magistrate and area and upper area courts, when you enter their court to see where they sit, you will pity them. Some of the courts are courts that are dangerous traps. They could fall on you. Mud buildings that were constructed before some of us were born. They are the courts some of these people sit in. They move from Gombe metropolis to go 150 kilometers to sit because there is no accommodation for them. And the government has a policy of thumb printing. If you travel every day to go to your station and thumb print because you don't have an accommodation and come back to your base where you are. In fact, it is a village that you cannot even get a rented accommodation. So these are issues that the government has to take seriously. We have argued severally about the underfunding of the judiciary. Gombe State, among the 6 northeastern states, is the least funded. Why can't the government in all the states in the northern part of Nigeria, in the entire country, adopt and agree with autonomy? Why is it a problem to the executive arm of government? These are 3 arms of government that should be autonomous. None should be subjugated by the other. None should be subservient to the other. None should depend on its allocation in form of running costs coming from the other. It's a wise saying that he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Why does the executive find it difficult to release legislature and the judiciary to go? The proverbial fair or let my people go should ring in the heads of the executive. It is high time to allow them go. Let them be autonomous. Let them be truly independent to be able to dispense justice without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So long as what they are giving is running costs from the office of the executive. And worse for Gombe State, it is the worst, I sincerely tell you. States like Adamawa, Taraba allocate 100 million naira each for their judiciary to run itself. Buy printing materials, buy stationaries. We don't have such luxuries in Gombe. You go to meet magistrates in business centers, parking their motorcycles because most of them cannot even afford cars. What would it cost to buy, even if it is Chinese cars, tear leather and give them as vehicle loans to aid their movement from their houses to their courts? You will see magistrates boarding the same vehicles in commercial parks with people they send to jail. That is dangerous. They can lynch you inside the vehicle. These are issues that are even in their conditions of service. Car loans, furniture allowances, and very many. Have interacted with so many magistrates. As far back as 2008, this has not been implemented. For crying out loud, this is Commonwealth. If the government will use the whole of these resources to put up good structures for courtrooms, to take care of the welfare of judges, to from time to time, 4-5 years, change their vehicles, even if it is at some cost, you can auction the ones they have used for 4 years at a negligible price for them to be able to enjoy. That is the essence of the government. That is not being accorded to magistrates. area court and upper area court judges, and we see them flying motorcycles. You see them from the houses using bike to get to motor park with their suits and their bags hung, and they are going to be in vehicles with people they do not know, but the people know them. It is dangerous. We are calling on the government on these issues to ensure that uh, the welfare of our judges at the High Court, their vehicles are changed, from time to time. Their training allowance to attend refresher courses to make them at par with their counterparts from other states. When you meet judges and judiciary staffs from other states, see the CJ of Bauchi and Adamawa states, they move in convoy like governor or deputy governor. Nobody is competing with the executive, but ours is just to bring to the notice of the government that by the time you make life easy for these people, their productivity would be increased greatly and people will be happy. People are not happy with the judiciary. When you sit in places and you hear the comments people have, the opinions they hold, and these people are still being muzzled and they are not being treated well, and they are being compelled to be able to make justice sellable. It is not a fair thing. Once you're hungry, you must look for ways to be able to cover for the extras that your family, your relations will need. These are basics, these are their entitlements. All we are doing is we are calling upon the government to ensure that the judiciary is being taken care of adequately. The allocation in form of recurrent or running costs to the judiciary in Gombe, both the High Court and the Sharia Court of Appeal, we are calling on the government to increase it. While we await sincerely and patiently the implementation in full, the autonomy, we call upon the government to increase it. We have proactive chief judge and proactive grand cadi who maximize and are prudent with the resources. If they are given something good, all the courts some of us stopped going to courts in the rural areas because they are not befitting. You cannot dress fine and go and sit and be living with bats and be living with insects all inside the tables, and they are making noise, and some insects are pouring their dunks on you sitting in court. It doesn't speak well of the system. You cannot find any commissioner's office, any special advisor's office that dirty. It is only courtrooms that are dirty. It is disrespectful to the judiciary, and the government of the day has to rise to the occasion. We have shortage of manpower, and that is part of the reasons why we felt we should boycott the courts. You don't have adequate and well-trained staff of the court. You go to the Ministry of Justice, it's the same thing. Lawyers in the Ministry of Justice have undertaken the prosecution of cases at magistrate court levels in the metropolitan, and their job in the ministry is now suffering. You have 1,000 files from the police awaiting legal advice. Instead of taking 2 weeks as prescribed or provided for by the administration of criminal justice law, you take 6 months, and somebody is languishing in prison. His remand warrant is being renewed every day to detain him, when it is as simple as there are a lot of young people who desire to do this work. Ministry of Justice should have not less than 200 staff manning that ministry, giving legal opinions, representing the government in court, prosecuting offenders, posted to various ministries and departments to be able to help in legal opinions and other related issues. There is need for more persons to be employed. 5 vacancies exist in the High Court. And anytime, this is June 2025, in the next less than 24 months, at least 6 judges, 3 caddies, and maybe 4 magistrates will be posted to the 36 states of the federation to serve in the election tribunals. All cases will become halted for at least 9 months. Litigants are suffering, criminals' fates, or may I say defendants whose fates have not been decided, are suffering and eating our commonwealth in prison. They are being fed with our money. If their fates are decided and they are found to be not guilty, they are discharged and they go back to their respective endeavors. If they are tried and they are found to be guilty, they are sentenced accordingly. We call on the government to ensure a process is initiated for filling the vacancies that exist in the High Court as well as the Sharia Court of Appeal. There are qualified individuals, both in-house and outside. There are lawyers in private practice who are qualified and should also be considered for appointment into the High Court bench. And of course, to the magistrate.
Mr. Chairman, sir, perhaps you land on your thoughts because there are definitely going to be follow-up questions. Maybe land on your
Just
thoughts.
land on your